Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to understand how to change the file permissions and how to change the ownership of files and directories. So what we are going to cover in this lecture is we are going to study three commands: chmod, umask and chown. So let's get started. The very first command that we are going to start with is chmod. So this command is used to change the file permissions. So there are three permissions: read, write and execute. If you want to change the permissions for the user or the group members or others, then you can use the chmod command once you have created the files and directories. So this is applicable to those files or directories which are already created in the system. Now there are two ways to use the chmod command. One is relative and the other is absolute. So now let us look into the very first method, which is the relative method of using the chmod command. Now in the relative method, we need to specify three things. The first is who, means for whom you are going to change the permissions. So there can be either the user owner, the one who has created the file, then the group owner or others. So you will use either U for the user, G for the group and O for others. And if you want to change the permissions for all of these at once, then you can write A. Next, we need to specify whether you want to grant the permission or you want to take back or deny the permission. So you will write either plus or minus. Last thing is you will tell what permission you want to change. So either you want to apply read permission or write permission or execute permission. So these three things you need to tell: user, group or others, then you want to grant or deny, so plus or minus, and then what permission you want to change. So now let us focus on one of the files. Let us suppose if I check the permissions of per.txt file. So the permissions are read, write for the user, only read for the group and only read for others. Now if I want to change the permissions, I use chmod. Then remember, I need to tell three things. First is for whom I want to change. So let's suppose I want to grant the group. Since I want to grant, so I'll write plus which permission, write, and then the name of the file per.txt. Let us check again. So here you can see that the write permission, earlier it was not there, now it has been granted. Similarly, if you want to revoke back any of the permissions, chmod, let's suppose from others we are going to deny read on the same file. Check again, and now you can see that the read permission is not there for others. Now the second method of using the chmod command is the absolute method. In the absolute method, it doesn't matter what are the existing permissions. Your focus is on the final set of permissions. And for every permission, there is a number associated with that. For read, the number is 4. For write, the number is 2. And for execute, the number is 1. These numbers are fixed. You need to memorize them. So whatever permission you want to grant, if there is a set of permissions, then you will add up the corresponding numbers. So now let us take an example and see practically how we are going to use the absolute method for changing the permissions. Now in absolute method, as discussed, we have to specify a number for the user, group and others separately. So let's again focus on per.txt. Now it doesn't matter what are the current permissions, okay? Even if you don't know what are the current permissions, you know the target. For example, for the user you want all, which means read, write and execute. For the group you want read and execute, and for others, let's suppose you want only write. So for the user, if it is all, so you write chmod, one number for the user. All means read, write, x. So 4 plus 2 plus 1, that is 7. For the group, you are having two permissions, read and execute. So read is 4, execute is 1. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And for others, it is write only. Write is 2. So the number becomes 752 and then the permissions der.txt. Let us check. So now you can see read write X for the user, read and X for other group, and only write for others. Now the same is applicable for directory also. So let us focus on one of the directories. Let's suppose D5 ls minus ld D5. Okay, this is the current permissions. So I don't care what are the current permissions. What I want is I want 642 on D5. ls minus ld D5. 6 means what? Read and write. 4 is only read and 2 is only write. So read and write, only read for the group and only write for others. The second command for today is umask. With chmod, you can change the permissions of existing files. But what if you want to change the default? For example, whenever you create a new file or a new directory, if you check the permissions, you will see some default permissions are already associated with that file or directory. What if you are not happy with those? So you can use the umask command to change the default. So remember, if you are changing the default permissions of the future files and directories, this means while using the umask command, you will not specify the file or the directory name. You will use umask and then the set of permissions that you want to mask. So this is a little different from the chmod. Here, whatever number you specify, again you will give 3 digits, one for the user, second for the group, and third for others. But those permissions will not be granted. Okay, the command is umask. You are masking the permissions. For example, if you say umask 0 to 4, so 0 means you are not masking any permission. So the user is going to get all the permissions. 2 for the group, this means the group will not get write permission. 4 for others, this means others will not get the read permission. Now there is one exception while you use the umask command. For files, even if you grant the execute permissions, for regular files, even if you grant the execute permissions, it will not be given by default. Okay, remember this, for regular files, the execute permission will not be given by default because regular files are not executable. They are just meant to be read or written. They cannot be executed. Hence, even if the umask says that the execute permission is there on a file, a regular file will not be able to get the execute permission. You can change that with the help of chmod command, but not by default, right? So now let us look into the practical use of the umask command. Now, whatever file I create, let's suppose 1, 2, 3, and if I check the permissions, it will be this for all: read write for the user, read for group, and read for others. For any file that I create in the future, same permissions will be there. Similarly, if I create a directory 23 ls minus ld dir 23, similar permissions, read write X for the user, read X for group as well as others will be given for any new directory. How these permissions are being granted? What if I am not happy with these permissions? I want to change them so that I don't have to do it every time. So for that, the command is umask. If I check the default umask, it is 022. 022. 0 means all the permissions for the user. 2 means write is not there for the group, and the last 2 means write is not there for others. Ignore the first 0 as of now. We will discuss it later. Now umask is, interpretation is different. Masking means what? Masking means not granting. Mask means to hide something. So this means if I say umask 1, 2, 3. So this means I am masking permission 1 for the user. What is 1? Execute. This means execute will not be given to the user. Then for the group, the number is 2. This means I am masking write for the group. So write will not be given to the group. Third is 3 for others. 3 means write and execute. So this means write and execute will not be given for the others. Okay, interpretation is different because I am masking the permissions. You will not write any file name or any directory name because this is applicable to future files and directories. Since you don't know what will be the name of the files in the future, so you need not to specify any file names or directory names. So let us test this only 1, 2, 3, and then if I create a directory, let's suppose 12 dir 12 ls minus ld dir 12. So now you can see here read and write for the user because 1 is masked, so execute is not there. Similarly for the group, the masking number was 2. 2 means write not there, so write is not there. For others it was 3. 3 is write and execute, so that's why write and execute is not there. Same goes for the file also. If I create a new file, let's suppose 234, with an exception, everything will be same, but with an exception that execute will not be given even if it is allowed. So as per the umask, 1 execute is not there, fine, it's not there. For the group, 2 means write is masked, but it is still not giving execute permission. Why? Remember, this is an exception in case of files, that even if you give the execute permission by default, a regular file will not get that permission. A regular file is a non-executable file. It cannot be executed. For example, a text file, it cannot be executed. It can be opened, or it can be read, or it can be written. You cannot execute it. You can only execute an executable file, something that has been compiled. For example, a C program or any programming language. First you write the code, then you compile it, and then you execute it. So after you compile it, the executable file is generated, which will get the execute permission by default, but a regular file will not get an execute permission by default, even if it is there in the umask. That's an exception. Otherwise, everything is same. The permissions are same for files as well as directories. The final command is chown. So this command is used to change the ownership of the file or directory, which means that if you want to change the user owner or the group owner, then you can use the chown command. So in this case, you will use the command chown, and then you will write the username, colon, the group name, and then whatever file or directory for which you want to change the owner. You can either specify both at once, the owner and the group, or you can specify one at a time also. So let us understand this with the help of an example now. So change on, let's suppose we have the file per.txt again. Now look who is the user here. So the user owner is Baljit, the group owner is also Baljit. In case you want to change the user owner or the group owner, you can use the chown command. Obviously, to change the user owner or the group owner, you need to know about what all different users are there in your system and what all different groups are there, which we will be covering in the future. So as of now, what you can do is, I'm pretty sure that there are minimum 2 accounts in your system. One is the regular user account which you have been using, another is the root user account. Still, if you want to check what all other users are available, you can cat the etc passwd file, and here in the very first column you will see the list of users available in the system. Every line is depicting a user, and the very first entry is the name of the user. Okay, but you know, to get into this, what we are going to do is, you can simply shift to the root user account. Alright, create a file here. Let's suppose we create a file root.txt. Check who is the owner. So you can see root is the owner because root has created it, and root belongs to a group named root. So the group owner is also root. So let's suppose I want to change the owner of this from root to regular user Baljit. What I will do, chown Baljit, and then the name of the file root dot txt. If I check the permissions again, you can see that the user is changed. Similarly, if you want to change the group also, so you write chown. The general syntax is user colon group and then whatever file name you want. Alright. So earlier what I have done is I have omitted the group. This time I can omit the user. If you want to change both in one command, then you can write both like this. Okay. So I know there is a group named Baljit also in my system, but in case you want to check which all groups are available, then again you need to cat the etc group file and you will see the list of groups here. So you can see here a lot of groups. Let me choose this PEV group. So ls minus L, I was working on the root file, root.txt. Alright, so I'll change now chown colon, since I want to change only the group PEV for the file root.txt. Now you can see the group has been changed. If I wanted to do this in one single command, user as well as the group, I could have written like this. This would have resulted in the same change. So let's change back to the original. Root was the name of the user as well as the group. ls minus L. Now you can see both the user owner as well as the group owner has been changed. So that's it for this particular video. In the next lecture, we are going to understand file archive and compression techniques.